kind of want to talk about Kanye. Obviously, we're in regards to the presidency because this is
50,000.
Isn't that crazy?
50,000.
50,000 people.
50,000, dude. That is like, I don't know. Like, I can't tell if it's a flop because it obviously wasn't what a Kanye campaign could be, essentially. But I'm also like, it was still too much, a little too much.
I know. Well, he's gonna run in 2024 as well. I don't know if you saw that as well. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What is he gonna do when he, that's 50,000 write-ins.
I know.
50,000 people like on their own with their own initiative like wrote in somebody when we can't get people to just fill in a bubble for someone else. Like
I know. So I mean, and it was pretty crazy that I also thought this too. He was, believe it or not, when he voted, he claimed he voted for himself, which obviously, I mean, I would too if I was him. But he said that
we can believe that from Kanye for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. I mean, talk about ego. Again, he's a musical genius, but I mean, talk about somebody that's
genius,
a bit egotistical. But he told like his his social media audience that this was the first time he's ever voted, which I find very troublesome to me. Like, how are you running for president if you've never voted before? Like,
why do you feel comfortable saying that out loud like that?
I know. I know. Doesn't that kind of seem hypocritical? I think so, personally.
Well, I think it's obviously hypocritical, but I think it goes to show, like, one, how inspired he is by just like Donald Trump as a celebrity figure,
right?
And two, like it's a reflection somewhat of what like a lot of other people think as well. Like, political leaders don't need to be activists or have any kind of career in social justice or activism. Like, they just need to be popular, which is, that's a little sad, but it's just, I think at the end of the day, though, a lot of that stuff honestly doesn't last and doesn't always, usually doesn't make it through in the long haul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In our pre-record, when we were like planning this episode, I think that you had kind of brought up an interesting question, and I think it bodes asking now. I think, do you think that like more celebrities are going to start running for president, and like is that going to be a problem? You think like down the line? Because I personally answering my own question, I kind of see what you're saying about like this almost becoming a popularity contest in its own right, and I'm a little bit worried about other like celebrities or hip hop artists or really anybody, right, that's not hasn't had a life in politics. And then we can go down that rabbit hole about politicians and all that stuff. I'm not really here to talk about that whole thing, but I'm more here to like, do you think we'll start to see more celebrities and like musical artists like run for president, like or office?
I hope not, dude. I hope not personally. Too. Like I think the most interesting part of this is just celebrities, Donald Trump being the epitome of that, but just celebrities having the audacity, to leverage their brand and leverage their popularity in order to get people to go to voting booths, which just feels like an abuse of your platform. It feels like an abuse of your following, in my opinion, because in my eyes, what I also think is going to be the determining factor, no matter what, even through this term with Donald Trump, and who knows, maybe in the next 2 days, like we're going to have another term of Donald Trump. Like it's you never know for sure at this point. It's looking real close. But I think at the end of the day, people who do the work and people who actually care about this passionately they deserve these jobs and usually end up getting the jobs. Whether it's like they catch us, somebody comes around or some organization comes around and pulls us out of rock bottom, or just the perseverance of people who have done this for a long time, not willing to let go, hand it over to people who made a dope hip hop album. Like, I think it will balance itself out, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But I think it's unfair, but it looks like there's a trend developing, essentially, of these celebrities feeling like this is an arena they can step in, which I think is also just disrespectful to people who have been doing it. You know, that's essentially what I'm trying to say, man. Like,
yeah, and I think that, you know, there's I don't want to. I'm not sitting here. I'm not on like the side of like the shut up and dribble people, right? Like that's not
right.
Because I think that there's a vast difference in that. Like you can be a social or even political activist as a celebrity, like, or as a musical artist or whoever, right? If again, like you said, like you're passionate about that work, do that work. But I feel like Kanye hasn't really done that work to even be that. I mean, Donald Trump didn't either, right? So that's
Right.
and that's inherently the issue. It's like, you know, are we just going to hand over these platforms to these people that want to kind of take it and run with it? I don't know. It's strange to me. Like I agree. Like it seems like a mix of business and politics, and I don't know if I like that very much. And I'm baffled, to be honest with you. Like this is a interesting statistic that I want to share with you. Over 1,200 votes for Kanye West in Vermont. 1,200 people in Vermont picked Kanye
That's
West.
crazy.
Vermont. That is mind blowing to me. I did not even think that he would get this. Like you said, the 60,000 votes is baffling to me that he got that many.
It's so there's like I don't know. It's like I'm trying to use a big word out there. It's like paradoxical. It's like there's a dichotomy there. It's because at one point I think oh, it's Kanye West, of course, and no one's gonna like logically, and no one's gonna elect this person to be a world leader. Or he's not gonna be a serious threat, even if he's gonna get 100 or 500 or 1,000 people to do it. But then at the same time, whether I don't know if this is just the way I look at it after Donald Trump, but it's also like a given that someone who's an artist, whether it's someone who's a celebrity, just in American culture, people with celebrity have a lot of influence and are more relatable.
That is true.
To people than politicians, because that's what they do. Like they've been staying out of politics for so long, trying to not be too polarizing. But at the end of the day, like, of course it's a given. Like, yeah, people are gonna fuck it. Sorry, I don't know if we're cursing here.
No, you're good. You're totally fine.
Yeah,
totally
people are gonna fucking vote for Kanye West. This is Kanye. He has enough pool of people who love him already that I'm not surprised there's, you know, we have to count for teenagers who just don't. True. This is their first time voting, who don't care. Older people who are also very jaded just by what they've been seeing, so they don't care. And tons of people who idolize this person to such a degree where, like, just to be a part in the moment of history, they'll write down Kanye West. Especially, you know, in our Instagram age, like, or in any age, there'd be a celebrity like him is gonna get a good amount of votes. That's where I'm saying it's like a weird. I don't know whether to be surprised by the 50,000 or disappointed, or like I can't tell.
There's a little bit of both for me.
Not disappointed. I'm disappointed in the not that I think he should get more. Just to clarify that.
Oh, yeah. No,
disappointed in the sense that I'm disappointed so many people would vote for him.
Yes. I knew what you meant.
Seen it coming.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Hopefully, people listening at home or wherever you're listening understood what you were saying. But no, I completely agree. I think that there's I don't know. There's a sense of me that is a little bit concerned seeing that large of amount of a number that he got for votes. So I don't know. It does worry me a little bit for the future. Like I said, are these celebrities going to think that this is a avenue that they can just jump into because they're already popular and they know that they can at least get 50 to 60,000 votes without even really doing any campaigning or having any? Not only that,
he did this. On like the last second homework type.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, he came in at the 11th hour and was like, "Hold on, I'm gonna run too." And we were all just kind of like, I mean, I will say this though.
Did you ever get one of his ads? Sorry, did you ever get one of his ads? Did you ever see one of his ads?
I never did. No, why?
And this is why it was. Oh, that's so funny because I felt a type of way about being targeted as by these Kanye Instagram ads. He put out real ads, and I only know this not because I researched it, because I received it on my newsfeed and on my timeline on Instagram. I maybe it was on his page, but I really want to say it was like it was a paid ad. a sponsored ad that popped up, and it was Kanye West, and it was this little graphic video that showed someone how to do a write-in on the ballot, and showed like write-in Kanye West, and then it was like it looked almost like similar to that Nike commercial he had with Kobe, just in terms of like the camera and effects. Like he was like looking out into the sky. Like I don't know if you want to Google this or what, dude, but like he's literally, it's like shot very dramatically. He's looking out into the sky, like saying stuff about freedom, rights, liberation, and and he's like, they show how to write in the ballot, and it cuts away, and he's like, this message is approved by Kanye West. And it's just like, whoa. And I thought it was so funny, though. Like, this goes to show he's a billionaire, right?
Oh,
he
yeah.
has all these resources. All these things are expendable. Like, he can, if he did this with any kind of foresight, he would have done a lot better than he did now.
Exactly.
And just like, look how good he did by irrationally jumping into this.
And that's what scares me, right? And like,
exactly,
he's talked about running in the past, though. This isn't like one of those things, but it was always, it always just kind of seemed like I don't know, like he just says.
And so did Trump.
True. Trump has been talking about this for like 20 plus years. Like,
he's
I think
taken the same exact rap. You know?
Yeah. So that is my fear, where it's like, will people take him more seriously in 24 if he actually takes the campaigning seriously? That is my fear with it.
Right.
And I just, like you said, I mean, to kind of, in closing, I think for me, like one of the last things I kind of have to say about this whole thing is just like, I want to leave those jobs up to, like you said, the people. I mean, I feel this way too. The people that have dedicated their lives for it. And it's not to say that Kanye West can't be a part of that conversation, or that he should just shut up and make music or anything like that. Like, I'm not saying that at all. Like, dude, like, I appreciate if, you know, like, I think LeBron James gets a ton of like backlash for that, and I don't understand why. I think LeBron James speaking about bigger issues that mean a lot to him are actually a good thing, and I feel like that it'll maybe force other celebrities and athletes to actually get out there and maybe use their money wisely and help some of these causes. Yes, and they should, like just the philanthropy of it. And you know, I'm not telling anybody on how to, you know, use their money, but I think Kanye West could have used the money that he probably paid for that ad to maybe put it towards a different cause that would have been made more of an impact. I don't know. That's just my opinion on that.
Of course,
so,
like, yeah, that's a great opinion, Mike. It's not. It's not super wild. It's not a hot take. This is like, he could have done this, and I think if he had a reputation of doing this, you know, if Jay-Z ran for president, I would still say, wow, the balls on that guy.
Yeah,
but I would think about it a lot more with Jay-Z, right? Because he has. And maybe that's still I'm falling victim to this celebrity culture. But with someone like a Jay, you know what I mean, or KRS, or even Kendrick Cole, like, come on, like, just tons of more figures, even in music, who have a reputation to be more thoughtful and more proactive socially. There are tons of other people who have done that more than Kanye West as of late, and have set more of a precedent in their career to stand for certain things like that, like Mos Def, right? Like, I was seeing something on Instagram where someone had said on Instagram, you know, criticizing Kanye, being like, celebrities are not politicians. Celebrities are not politicians. And of course, you have people in the comments who are like, well, what good are politicians? You know what I mean? So what? There are tons of people who look at it in that end, like, you know, if someone, and I'm not super. I try to balance myself with being like sensible, but also like sensitive to certain things, whether it's like with art, you know what I mean? I'm here with the woo, like, he made a good album, maybe he's very complex as a person, but there has to be some work that backs that up. And don't get me wrong, you know, like College Dropout, Late Registration, those two albums especially have just a lot of social commentary.
Right.
Graduation a little bit less so, but even in his My Beautiful Dark Twisted, there's a lot of things that just goes to show that he's aware. He's made a lot of art that is represented himself well, and also I think represented what it's like to be a black man in America and be a black man in his position, which is obviously social. And that's good. That's all good stuff. But is this a guy who we really trust, behind the holding the reins of this whole thing? But sorry, to bring it back to the Instagram comments, someone commented back, and someone commented on her post and was like, well, what about the MCs like Talib Kweli? Or they said, what about the rappers like Talib Kweli, Mos Def, KRS-One, and a slew of other old school rappers, obviously. And he put Kendrick and Cole in there. And then she replied, those are not rappers or just celebrities. Those are MCs. Making a distinction, of course. There's a caveat, everyone, because we do realize that artists can have a profound effect on us and can help mobilize people and can help enlighten people. So we can't say they have no ability or they have no positive influence even on other people, because we've seen that they definitely have the capacity to do so. Art just has the capacity to do that.
Oh yeah.
But it's people who take it seriously that way or not. You know what I mean? I think that's where hip hop is also supposed to be. You're supposed to be a rapper and an MC, a performer, and a performer and a teacher.
Sure.
You're supposed to be up there doing both, because that's in the roots of hip hop too, and I think that's in the roots of music and art in general. Sorry that was so long-winded.
No.
But it's these things, like you're saying, they can coexist.
But to what extent, right? Like, to what extent should they coexist?
Exactly. To what extent? Yeah. And to what people are we going to grant that? You know what I mean?
Yes, true.
So and
true.
what standards are we going to hold them? Can we really do it just off the basis of music and likability? No,
you can't. No.
Not in my opinion.
Well, no, definitely. And again, not a hot take, Phoenix. You know what I mean? I agree. But like, there's again, like you said, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, KRS-One. These are guys that have actually done some things outside of music and hip hop, and that have actually like created some change. Even another guy like Akon, right? Like, I feel like Akon has done a lot. I can't remember what country it is, but didn't he give like, or help like an entire country with like clean water or like electricity or something like that? I don't even know what it was. I can't remember quite. It was like some third world country. But
I think he's done that multiple times to multiple countries in Africa.
So that's huge.
He's just been like a huge ambassador and advocate for all of Africa to kind of rebuild itself as a continent.
See, that's great.
He's gone to like multiple countries doing like starting up foundations and providing water to people, providing electricity, providing Wi-Fi, providing hip hop studios or like music studios.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, that in essence, that is great. Like, that is actual change, and like Akon taking, he hasn't made any music in freaking a decade, right? He's been doing this. Like, this is what he's using his money and like his philanthropy and his his platform and just like the person he became from music. Like, this was like, I think it sucks because I feel like with someone like Akon, people will just remember him. Maybe I could be naive about this, but I feel like a lot of people remember him for the music rather than some of this other stuff that's actually important in making change. And not that he didn't like have an impact on the music industry and things like that, but like, I don't know, man.
It's funny. Akon's funny. Akon's actually like, I think, a very unique situation. Personally, I saw him do that Tekashi thing. I don't know if you saw him do that Tekashi collab video.
I did.
Tekashi 6ix9ine, when he was going on a press tour talking to anybody and everybody that he could, and most people were rejecting him. And he popped up on Instagram with Akon, remixing Akon's Locked Up. And it hasn't come out. I don't think it's come out as a track, but a lot of people were just obviously upset that Akon would put himself in this Instagram content, because he knew it was going out. He was clearly looking at the camera like they were a part of this. They thought it through. But like, even people, I guess like Tory Lanez, were commenting like they were upset, suggesting because like people have tried to sample Locked Up and remix Locked Up, and they couldn't get their hands on it. But he does it with Tekashi. So, and that's not to outweigh all the other positive things. I was actually going to tell you a small thing I learned from a Akon interview I watched on a Breakfast Club. I want to say it's Breakfast Club, but he's talking about times where he's literally mediating conflicts between warring countries in Africa,
Wow.
setting up deals with all these presidents or ministers of these places. And at some point, even these people are like, this is from the interview, so who knows? This is me. You can take it with a grain of salt. I'm literally just regurgitating what Akon said in his interview, but he's like doing his best. He has so much influence over there that he can, and has so much willingness to apply everything, all his resources to try and mediate conflict, genuinely trying to unify countries that are having problems, I guess. And he was saying that it was working to a degree where people were, sending him out saying, yeah, you have our blessing. If you can get this to happen, we'll totally we'll totally come to the table, open-minded. And like, they were surprised that he was actually able to get so many countries to essentially endorse him.
Right.
So he was like having conversations with real leaders, like national leaders, over there. So it's crazy. I don't know. What will he be remembered for? Probably the pop songs. Probably just the pop songs. But I think he's I think things like this are going to be on the books for people who care to look a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And this will definitely add to his legacy because, it should.
Agree. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a it's again, he's making positive change versus Kanye West just kind of, I don't know. To me, it just seems like
he's saying F it. He's saying, bro,
not,
I don't care. This is like a man in his going through a midlife kind of crisis, like trying to find, his next new thing. And when you're at Kanye's scale in terms of life, when you're at Kanye's level, you don't just sign up for fucking Block Watch. You go and sign up to fucking run to be president because you think you got a shot. Like,
exactly. I know. I don't want to be the guy that says like, stick to music because that's the wrong message. Like get yourself involved. But yeah, do something like what Akon's doing. I think if he had a track record like that, like if Akon came back and was like,
right,
I want to run for president, I'd be like, okay, at least he has some experience in foreign affairs and like he knows how to rebuild things. Like I would at least feel better about that. I don't know if I would still vote for him. It would depend upon who he was running against. But like, you know what I mean?
Here's why I think it gets tough. It's because I think a lot of people are gonna say, like, Trump, and I'll say this too, because I'm the type of guy to say this. Trump got to freaking do it. He was allowed to do it as a white guy. That's that white privilege where clearly there are tons of white. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get I don't mean to get crazy about it, but that's that white privilege as a white guy. He's saying, yeah, I can do this, and there are enough white people who, what it seems like on the basis of very surface level things, like him maybe being also white, like, they give him a large benefit of the doubt,
right, and
will believe in him, place their faith in him, and if it can get him elected, then like you're saying, or just like anybody should be pondering now, is like, who are we to tell anybody they can't freaking run for office if at some point someone did it who was wildly underqualified and made it, you know what I mean? There's no way for us to cover up this L, and he's offering a hell of a fight right now for the second term. So like, there's clearly who am I to also like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell a black dude, I'm not gonna tell a brother just like to not run if he has that much conviction behind it. Mm-hmm. But I am gonna, for myself individually, and what I feel like people in the world should do, is I'm going to evaluate and assess my leaders thoroughly, and I'm going to look at your experience, I'm going to look at your things, and I'm also going to value the way you conduct yourself, and like yo, I love Ye just as much as anybody else, and you know what I mean? I also want to see all people, all positions of power being filled up by more people of color.
Agreed.
I want to see people being represented, and I also want all people of color to aim high. You know what I mean? But yes, I think Kanye, with a little bit more self-awareness, would be able to come to the conclusion that he's not the guy. I would love what if he did something cool? This is just me going on another thing. Like, what if he did something cool, went to freaking Chicago, went to all the social justice programs that Chance the Rapper started up and founded, because he's actually tapped into these young people, say, yo, who's your top guy here at Social Experiment that's born and bred Chicago? Yeah, has he ever thought about running for office around here? Endorse that guy.
Such a good
Mobilize
idea.
that kid who's been
Such a
doing
good
the
idea.
work. And then it's like, all right, yo, you want to step up to Congress? You want to step up to senator or governor or something? Let me keep funding you. Let me endorse you. And then I'll go, do the things that I do, which we have other things that we know he is passionate about. Music, fashion, and I was gonna say, like, I guess, like, imperialism. I don't know, like, he's just like, I don't know if that makes sense, but he's trying to build his empire. He's also just very obsessed with expanding his brain on his brand on a consumer level and an artistic level. But like, give it to someone who's been there. Again, I don't know if I use that word at all in the right context. I'm just throwing them out there to sound smart, Mike. It's turntable teachers. I gotta give the SAT words.
Yeah, throw them all out here. This is the platform for it. No, I think, like you said, I think it's a good place to kind of wrap up. I think, Kanye should, endorse somebody like that. I think that's a great idea, and I think that is something but I don't think he has the, the wherewithal and the he can't separate the ego from, like, actually, doing something like that. So I think that in essence is kind of the problem with it. But hey, man, I mean, like you said, we'll see where it goes in 2024. Obviously, we'll sit back and see what happens with this election first. But I think that is something to maybe consider, as time passes. Is what are we going to just allow these celebrities to continuously put themselves in a position to be president? I just don't know if it's a feasible thing. And I think the rest of the the rest of the world is kind of looking at us like, what are you guys doing? And like, I agree. Like, what are we doing, dude? You know what I mean?
What are we doing?
Doing? So,
and I think it's feasible. It's been proved that it's feasible.
Exactly. That's the whole scary part about it.
Yeah.
That's what is scary about it. You know what I mean?